Have you ever noticed how some people, they just have a way with words? They walk into a room, they start talking, and boom, everyone's listening. Their ideas just seem to land with so much more weight. But then someone else can say the exact same thing and it just falls totally flat. So what's the deal? What's the real difference there?
It's a question we've all thought about, right? Why is it that some people are just so compelling? You meet them and you feel this instant connection. Their impression sticks with you long after you've said goodbye. So what is their secret? Is there one?
Well, here's the great news. It's not magic. And it's definitely not something you're just born with. Powerful communication is really just a toolkit, a set of practical skills that anyone can learn. So, in this explainer, we're going to open up that toolkit and show you exactly how to use every single tool inside.
All right, let's dive into our first big idea, the unspoken conversation. This is everything you're communicating before you even say a single word. Yeah, we're talking about the power of nonverbal cues and making that all-important first impression count. Get this, psychology tells us it takes just 7 seconds for someone to form an impression of you. 7 seconds. That's it? In that tiny window of time, it's not about what you say. It's about the vibe, the energy you're putting out there. Your posture, your gestures, your whole presence. That's what's doing the talking. Okay, so how do you actually master that vibe? Well, it boils down to 4 key things you can do right now. First up, the 50-70 rule for eye contact. Try to hold it about 50% of the time you're talking and ramp it up to 70% when you're listening. It's a total game changer for showing you're engaged. Next, master a power pose. Just stand tall, shoulders back. Seriously, it's scientifically proven to make you feel more confident. Then, think about using open gestures, so uncross those arms. It sends a signal that you're open and friendly. And finally, a good, firm handshake. It's such a simple but powerful sign of mutual respect.
All right, so you've nailed that first impression. Awesome. Now let's build on it with our second pillar, how to forge a real connection that goes way beyond just small talk.
And the absolute key here is empathy. But look, empathy isn't just saying, oh, that sucks. It's about actually feeling with them. So if your friend says they didn't get a job they wanted, don't just sympathize. Take a second and really imagine how you would feel in their shoes. When you can respond from that place, that's when your communication becomes real and you start building genuine relationships.
Now here's a super simple but crazy powerful technique. Use people's names. Dale Carnegie was spot on when he said a person's name is the sweetest sound to them. I mean, think about Starbucks calling out your name for your coffee. It makes you feel seen, right? Remembering and dropping someone's name into the conversation, it's a tiny effort with a massive, massive payoff for building a connection. Okay, let's talk about something called the echoing technique. This is awesome. So instead of giving a dead-end reply like, oh, cool, you grab a key phrase they just said and, you guessed it, you echo it back as a question. This shows you're not just hearing the words, you're actively listening, and you're actually curious. It's such a simple hack to instantly make any conversation deeper. Okay, so we've covered body language and how to connect. Now it's time for Pillar 3, making your words actually matter. Because let's be honest, how you say something is so often more important than what you're actually saying. Let's break down what I call the 3 Ps of your voice. First, you've got pitch. A higher pitch can show excitement, right? While a lower pitch brings a sense of seriousness. Then there's pace. If you talk too fast, you might sound nervous. Too slow, and you could lose people's attention. The key is to vary it up. And finally, my favorite, the most underrated tool in the box, the pause. That strategic silence right before you make a big point, it builds suspense and gives your words so much more power. So you want to get better at this? Here's a super simple exercise for you. Just take out your phone and record yourself talking about anything, your day, a movie, for just 1 minute. Then listen back. Really pay attention to your pitch, your pace, and where you pause. Seriously, doing this for just a couple minutes a day can make a huge difference in your delivery. Look, people don't remember facts and figures nearly as well as they remember stories. And you know what? Every great story, whether it's a blockbuster movie or a killer startup pitch, follows this simple framework, CAR. There's a conflict or a problem, the action that was taken to fix it, and the result. If you start framing your ideas like this, they become instantly more engaging and way, way more memorable. And what about humor? A lot of people think you're either funny or you're not, but it's totally a skill. A great way to build it is with the switch technique.
All you do is take a normal situation and just flip the ending to something unexpected. Like, I started a new workout routine. So far, I've lost 2 weeks. See? You're switching the expectation from losing weight to losing time. Once you start looking for these little switch opportunities, you'll start finding humor in all sorts of places.
All right, on to our fourth and final pillar. And honestly, this one is the foundation that holds everything else up. It's all about your inner mindset. We're talking about emotional intelligence.
This is something called the level down principle, and it's a cornerstone of true influence. Think of it this way. To get someone to see your point of view, you first have to genuinely understand theirs. It's not about winning an argument, not at all. It's about building a bridge. You have to walk over to their side of the bridge first, before you can invite them over to yours.
And this really highlights the critical difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is pure impulse, right? It's just panic and proceed. But responding, that's thoughtful. That's taking a moment to pause, process what's going on, plan what you're going to do, and then proceed. Mastering that tiny little gap between a trigger and your action, that right there is the heart of emotional intelligence.
So there you have it. The 4 pillars that can take your communication from just talking to actually powerfully connecting. It all starts with that unspoken conversation, then builds into a true connection, gets delivered with real vocal impact, and it's all held together by a strong, emotionally intelligent mindset.
Look, none of this is just abstract theory. These are real, practical tools you can start using literally today. So the only question left is, which one are you going to practice first? Are you going to try the 50-70 eye contact rule? Or maybe the echoing technique? Or spend a minute practicing your 3 Ps? Just pick one. Start there and begin your journey to becoming a way more powerful communicator starting right now.